Sir, a gentle request to please record this session for us.
Yes, madam. I've started recording.
Okay. A warm good evening, friends. I am Sheila Phillip, faculty at St. Teresa's Institute of Education. On behalf of the collaborating institutions CareMax Foundation, Puducherry, and St. Teresa's Institute of Education, Mumbai, it's my proud privilege to extend a warm welcome to each one of you. We are on day 5, the final day of this national level online workshop that has been engaging student teachers, teachers, and teacher educators on the effective use of technology in everyday teaching. Let me reiterate that this platform was set up by CareMax Foundation and St. Teresa's Institute of Education to create a trickle contribution in the charity funding that the world stands in need of today. So before we begin, let's put ourselves in the presence of God. Heavenly Father, we implore you to grant our minds the wisdom to absorb what is being taught to us. Grant our mentor of today, Professor Ramya, the grace to be an effective teacher while demonstrating how to create meaningful Android applications. Let the purpose of our meeting and gathering be for the greater glory of God and for creating humans who use technology optimally and ethically. Can I make a few announcements? Delegates, we request you to mute your microphones, disable your cameras, and take jottings and make notes while the teaching session is in progress. A sincere request to our dear participants also to stay on till the end of today's session, as important announcements will be made regarding the feedback form and the certificates. So friends, happy learning. Over to you, Madam Ramya.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Sheila ma'am. I'll start the session now. Let me share my screen. Sir, can you confirm whether my screen is visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay, so good evening once again, everyone. Today in the session, we are going to see how we can develop Android app. So to begin with, let's see what is an Android app. It is a software application which can run on any Android device, basically all the mobile smartphones, Android, those which has Android operating system. So we can run those apps in those smart devices. The term also refers to APK file, which stands for Android package. Once we develop the application, we will get the Android package, which can be installed in any Android device for it to run. Android apps can be written using Java and C++ programming languages, but don't worry, today we are not going to use any programming language to develop the app. We are going to use an open educational resource which is going to make the development of app a very easy process for anyone to do. Android apps are available in the Google Store. Once we develop the app, it has to be uploaded in Google Play Store for it to be used. Now, as I told that we don't need any programming skills to develop the app, because not all teachers are good in programming like using C++ or Java. We are going to use a platform called MIT App Inventor. So this is the platform we will be using today to develop the app. Why are we using this MIT App Inventor to develop the app? Because it is a great way to start and learn building applications for Android, because it is a very friendly user interface in which anybody can develop the app. It is very easy and no programming skills required. We can create the app using the blocks, which I will be showing that how you can use the blocks to develop coding for the app. So no programming skills required. And as I mentioned earlier, it is an open educational resource which is available for free for anyone to use. So that's why we have preferred this MIT App Inventor platform. Now, before we develop the app, before I start demonstration of designing the app, I would like to show you what app we are going to develop today and how it will look like. So I have already developed the app and I got it installed in my mobile, which I would like to show you so that you will get an understanding of how the app will look like and what exactly I am trying to develop today. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, madam.
Okay, so this is I have done screen sharing of my mobile. So this is the app we are going to develop today. Text to speech for kids. It's a very basic, simple app that we are going to develop. You can see the title is displayed text to speech. The title itself says, so if I write some text, my app will speak it out for me. So where I will write the text, so I have a box here. So if I click on that box and if I write something here, I'll just type. I'm just typing this. Okay, so I have typed the text in this box. Now you can see there is a button, click to read. So the moment I click this button, whatever is written inside the box, that will be spoken by the app. So I'm going to click on this yellow color button which says click to read.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session.
Sir, is it audible to everyone?
Yes,
Good
madam.
evening, everyone. Welcome to the session. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the session.
Okay, so here
Yes,
if
madam.
you
It's audible.
yes, so this one I'm not speaking. The moment every time I click that click to read button, whatever is written inside the text box, it is spoken automatically by the app because that's how the app is developed. So this is the app which I'm going to demonstrate today of how to develop the same app. So let's get back to the presentation now. So in order to start developing the app, we should remember the 5 steps. The step 1, sign into MIT App Inventor. As I told you, this is the platform we will be using to develop the app. So we have to sign into that platform, which is MIT App Inventor. Step 2 is designing the app. Designing the app means basically to give a title and to give a box, placing the button, so giving a background color. So how the app looks. So that is called as designing the app. That is step 2. Step 3, coding app using block. So the step 3 is actually you have to start coding using blocks. You're not going to use any programming. The blocks are available for us to develop the coding. So we are going to do that as step 3. Step 4 is building the app. Basically to get the app ready to be installed in the mobile. So that is step 4. And step 5 is actually installing the app and running the app in the mobile. So these are all the 5 steps that I will be doing today. And if you have noticed, step 5 was the one which I showed you. Actually, I run the app in my mobile and I showed you. Okay, so let's start. First step now, sign into MIT App Inventor. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to my open any browser and then in Google search engine, you can type MIT App Inventor. Okay, so this is the platform. You can make a note of it, MIT APPINVENTOR, and then press enter key. You can see the first result that is displayed is MIT App Inventor. And what is the link of this MIT App Inventor platform is appinventor.mit.edu. So it clearly says that it is for educational purpose. So if you know the link of this platform, you can directly type that, which is appinventor.mit.edu. If you don't remember the link, then you can just type MIT App Inventor in Google search engine, and usually the first result that you get will be the MIT App Inventor platform website. So I'll just click on this. It will take us to the platform. This is the interface. Okay, so you can see here MIT App Inventor. This is the logo for MIT App Inventor. And you can see all of these things. And the purpose of we coming to MIT App Inventor is to create app. So you can see on top left corner, this orange color button which says create app. Yes, the purpose of us coming here is to create app. So I have to click on this button to start developing the app. It is in orange color, top left corner. So I'll click on this create app. Any website or any platform you must be knowing, you have to sign in. One advantage of this one is you don't need to create that sign up process is not there. Directly you can sign in with your Google account. So please remember, you won't see any sign up process for MIT App Inventor. Once you click create apps, directly it will take you to sign in window. So how you will sign in? It's very simple. You can just use any of your Gmail ID. I'm sure all of you will be having Gmail. So just write your Gmail ID, whatever you have, and then click on this blue color next button. Once you click on this next button, it will ask you to enter the password. You have to enter the password of your Gmail ID. Since you have given the used Gmail ID, you have to enter the password of your Gmail ID and again click on this next button. That's it. Step 1 is over. That means sign in to MIT App Inventor platform is done. We have finished the sign in process. So the very first time when you log in, this is the screen you will see. It will show welcome to App Inventor. It's like welcome screen. So you can just, it just says welcome to App Inventor. So this window, you just click continue button here. Once I click continue button, this is the screen that you will see. The latest app that I developed will be displayed here. So this is the latest one I developed. So it is showing this project. Now I have to create a new project for this demo. So where I should go? On the top, you can see these tabs, my project, connect, build, settings, help. Also all of these tabs you can see. And on the top right corner, if you see your Gmail ID that you used to log in. So this is your account that you have used to log in to MIT App Inventor. So on the top right corner will show you the account that you have used to log in. Now we have to create an app. So where you should go, you have to go to my project. Once you click my project, you will get a list box which will show my projects, and the second one says start new project. If you click on my new projects, what will happen? I will show you. See, I'm clicking my projects. All the projects that I have developed using this platform is listed. So I can go back and open the app which I have developed earlier. But now I want to create an app. So I have to click on my project, which is on the top left corner. So click on my project, and the second one says start new project. Yes, I have to start a new project now. So the moment I click this, it will ask me to enter the name of the project. So I have to give a name. Even a Word document or a PowerPoint or Paint, Notepad, any application you use, you have to give a name for that file. Similarly, we have to give a name for this project. So which I'm going to give as text to speech. I'm going to give 3107. Maybe today's date I'm giving. Now, if you observe, there it is showing some error. It is saying project names cannot contain spaces. So you should remember this, that whenever you give name for the project, it will not allow any special characters or spaces and all. So how you want, if you want to give some space between two alphabets, you have to use underscore key. So underscore character you can use to give space between two words. Otherwise, space it will not accept. Okay, so I gave a text to speech and today's date I have given. Okay, so now there is no space, so it is not giving me any warning message. So this is the name of the project, and then I'll click this OK button. Once I click OK button, you can see here text to speech 3107 has been created. Now it will take me to a blank project. So this is the place I will be working to create the app. So if you notice, the entire interface is divided into 4 parts. The left side, it is showing this palette. Palette means all the components that you can use for your project will be listed. So there are many components available you can use for developing the app. But surely we will not be using all of the components. Depending on the app that we are going to develop, whatever is required, those components only we will use. So this is palette, and the next one is viewer. Viewer is, you can see in viewer we are actually seeing the mobile interface. So you can use this place to design the app for your mobile. And the next one is component. Now whatever components we are using from the palette and drag and drop in viewer, that will be displayed in the component. Basically, you can see all the components that I use for my app will be listed out here. And the next one is property. Property means every component will have a property. Basically, property means the background color, text color, height, width, all these things, where it has to be placed. So all of these things can be done by using this property panel. So I repeat, the screen interface is divided into 4 parts. The first one is palette, which has all the components that can be used. And the next one is viewer, which is showing the mobile. And whichever component you want from the palette, you can just left click, drag and drop it in viewer. So the next one, component, will have all the components that we are using in our app, using in this mobile viewer. That will be displayed here, and for every component we can set the property. Now, as I told that we are going to develop the app, of course, we are going to use the components from the palette. Now, what components we need to design our app? So before designing, I'll just take you to the PowerPoint so that it will give a better understanding. So as you noticed in the beginning of the session, this is the app which I showed you, which has title, a box and a button. So in order to design an app like this, what are all the components that we need? So before designing, you just get an idea of this. So components that are used to design this text to speech for kids. So you can see this is the title. So whenever we want to add a title, we will use a component called label from the palette panel. So this is label. And the next one, there is a box where I wrote, good evening everyone, welcome to the session. So whenever you want to type something, you need a box which is called as a text box, as you can see here. And the next one is click to read, which is in yellow color. So it is a button because I'm going to click on it. Whenever you click something, you need to use a button. So we need a button. And if you observe, there is a space between the components. Here also there is a space, and from the top also there is some space. So to get some blank space, we have to use this horizontal arrangement component, okay, which will help us to leave some space between 2 components. And the last one is text to speech component. This component only will help that whatever text we are typing, which will help to speak it aloud. As I have mentioned here, it is an invisible component. Even if you drag and drop, it will not be visible on the screen. So these are all the components that we will be using to design the app. And where these components will be available, all these components will be available in the palette panel. This panel, it will be available. So as you saw, first we need a title. So for title, we used label component. So you can see from palette panel, we have here user interface. In user interface, if you check, we have this label component. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this label component, I'm doing left click and I'm dragging and dropping it on my viewer mobile screen. Now you can see the component is placed. The moment a component is placed on the viewer, automatically you can see in the component panel, it is displayed here. See, it is visible here, label 1. So what I can do, I can set the property for this label 1. So before I do that, let me set the property for screen. So I'll click on this. I'm not going to do so many changes on the screen. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, the background color. So the background color in the app which I developed, it had pink color. So I will also go for pink color. As you can see, now I have selected screen 1. Whenever you want to change the property of a component, please remember you have to click on the component. The moment you click, you can see property screen 1. It means whatever changes I'm going to do now, it will reflect on screen 1. So let me change the background color now. So it is showing default white color. So I'll click on this white color and I will choose pink color. You can see the moment I choose pink, automatically it is reflecting in the viewer. Okay, so I have changed the property of the screen 1 as pink color background. Now let me get back to label 1. So to make change in label 1, what I have to do, I have to click on label 1. The moment I click, the property for label 1, you have to please make a note of this here. You have to check whether you are in the correct component so that the changes that you are making in the property panel is reflecting on the correct component. So that you have to be very careful. Now, let me do some property changes for this label component. So the first one, if you see background color. So background color means the background color for label 1. So now I'll click on this and I will go for dark blue. You can see I got the background color for label. Immediately it is reflecting. Since I have chosen label 1 component, the background color of label 1 is affected. The screen is not affected. Now, if you see down, font bold. Yes, I want a bold font so that it will be very much visible for the user. And if I scroll down, I'm not going to change the property, like all the properties. Few properties only I'm going to show now. The next one is font size. It says 14. Let me make it big so that it is readable for the user. And then once I make the change, I have to click outside so that you can see the effect here. Now I will scroll down. I will not make any change here. I will come directly to the text. In the text, it is written text for label 1. That's why it is coming here, text for label 1. Whereas I want the text to be text to speech for kids. So this is the title I want. So I will write text to speech for kids. Once I type this, I have to click outside the box. Only then it will reflect here. Only then it will understand that the typing is over. Whatever I have entered is done. So once I click outside, you can see immediately the text to speech for kids is reflecting here. Now, if you see here, the text color, it is in black color. Whereas I have given the background color for the label dark blue. So I should go for text color, some light color so that it will be visible. So I will click on this and then I will choose none. Sorry, not none. I will go for white color. Sorry. So once I click white color, you can see I got the text as white color in blue background, which is very much visible. So I have done the changes for label. But if you observe, always the title should be center aligned. Whereas any component, when you drag and drop it, it will be left aligned by default. Now, how will I make this title to appear on the center? So to do that, what I have to do, I have to go to screen 1. You cannot do it in label. I will tell you why. I have to click on screen 1. In screen 1, you can see align horizontal. It shows left. It means whatever component is placed in screen 1, place it towards the left side. That's why it is coming left. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this align horizontal, and then I'll click this, and then I will choose center. The moment I click center, you can see the label is appearing on the center. Why I'm doing it in screen 1, again I repeat, because it is to instruct the app that any component that is placed on the screen, align its center. If you want it towards the right, then you can just click right. You can see it came towards the right. Now I will again get it back to the center. So the label part is done. The title is ready. Now I need a text box. If you see here, the next one is a text box. I want a box where I can write the text. So to do that, I will just scroll down. You can see here text box. So left click, drag and drop. That's it. The text box is placed. Same way we have to set the property for the text box. To do that, click on text box 1. Remember that this is the name of the text box. Okay, every time you place a component, this is the name for label, which is label 1, and this is the name for text box, which is text box 1. So I will click on this text box 1 and I will change the property now. I don't want to make any change here. Font bold. Yes, I will make the font bold, and again font size I will make it to 20, so that whatever I type inside the box, it will appear big. And then I'll just scroll down. You can see height and width. It means if you see the text box is very small. If I want to write some 4-5 lines, then it is not possible to write. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the height and width of my box. How I can do, I will just click on this automatic, and you can see here percentage. So by default, the screen size is 100%. Okay, the height of the screen is 100%. Now on that, I want this text box to occupy 30% of the place. So I will just click 30 and click OK button. You can see now the height of the text box is occupying 30% of the screen height. Now it is showing here width. Now width also I have to change. Width is this place, this side, this one. This is width. Now width also I want to increase. So what I will do, click on this automatic and then click on this percentage. Now the width of the mobile screen is 100%. In that, I want this text box to occupy 80% of the screen width. So I will click 80 and then click OK button. See, I got the width extended. So now it is occupying 80% of the screen width. So here 10% is left here, 10% is left here. So this text box is covering 80% of the screen width. Now let me scroll down. Here you can see multi-line. Why multi-line? When I start typing here, when it reaches the end of the text box, corner of the text box, automatically it has to come to the second line. So to get that, I will click on this multi-line, so that I will be able to type multiple lines, and then I'm not doing anything here. And you can see here text hint means hint for text box 1. Whether I want to give some hint. No, I don't want to give any hint. I will keep it blank. So I will delete this one. So no hint, because everything is clear for the user. So I'm not giving any hint. And you can see text color black. If I want it to be red color, so I can click red color, so that when the user types something inside the text box, it will appear in red color. So these are the property settings I want to do for the text box. You can notice that I'm not changing all the properties for a component. Whatever is required for the component, only that I am doing. So the text box is over. So what is the third one I want? Click to read. I have to click on this button. So the moment I say button, I have to come to the interface. You can see user interface in the palette panel. User interface, the first one button. So I will click, left click, drag and drop it in your mobile interface. So it is showing text for button. Now I want to change the property. As I told before, whenever you want to change the property, you can just click on this button 1. Please remember the name of this button is button 1. Now how I can do the property? Background color, you can see property button 1. So whatever changes I am making in property panel, it will reflect only on button 1. Now background color, I want it to be yellow. So I will just click on this yellow. So I got the yellow color. Font bold, yes. And font size, I'll again keep it 20. And I'm not going to make change in height and width because I feel it is okay. And shape, to differentiate between the text box and the button, maybe we can go for rounded. So the moment I click rounded, you can notice the edges will get that rounded shape. Okay, just to tell the user that it is a button. And now you can see text. What text you want inside this button? As you saw in the app, I'm going to type click to read. So the user will know that if I click here, it will read it. So once I type, it will not reflect. I have to click outside the box. Immediately, you can see the reflection here. And I'm not going to make changes here. Okay, the next one, text color. Since it is in yellow color, let me go for some dark color like red. Okay, so you can see I got the button ready. I have set the properties for the button. Now if you notice, all the components, whatever I place, they are placed one below the other. There is no space between the component, and everything is placed on the upper part of the screen. Now to distribute it equally all over the mobile screen, I have to use a component which I told earlier, which is horizontal arrangement component, which will help us to leave some space between the component. So I'm going to insert this horizontal arrangement component, okay, for giving space so that all our components are equally spaced, evenly distributed in the screen. So where will I get this horizontal arrangement component? It will not be available in user interface. So I have to scroll down. If you see, there is one option called layout. If I click on this layout, you can see horizontal arrangement. So it is basically to give some blank boxes between the component so that we will get some space between each component. So what I'm going to do, I'm left click on this horizontal arrangement, drag it, and then the moment I bring it on the screen, you can see that blue color line. The blue color line represents the moment I leave the my finger from the button, mouse button, the horizontal arrangement component will be placed there. So I will leave it here. You can see it is placed here, but the height is more. Actually, this much height I don't want. So what I can do, again, I will click on this horizontal arrangement component, and then I will go to this height. You can see I'm in horizontal arrangement 1 property. I will click on this height, and I will say this box should occupy 5% of the height of the mobile screen. So I'll click 5 here, and then I'll click OK button. You can see this box is occupying only 5%. Similarly, I have to give a space for these two components. To do that, go to palette panel, go to layout. In layout, you can see horizontal arrangement, left click, drag and drop it at the correct place wherever you are seeing this blue color line. So I will leave it. I got the box. Now you can see this is horizontal arrangement 2 because I am having 2 boxes. To avoid that confusion, it is giving the name 1, 2, 3 like that. So I will click on this horizontal arrangement component 2, and then I will change the height. This time I want it to occupy 10% of the screen height. So I will give 10%, and then I will click OK button. You can see the difference. This is 5% height and this is 10%. So it is like double the height of this one. Okay, now this is done. Now again, I want a space between this text box and click to read button. So again, I'll click on this horizontal arrangement, drag it. You can see the places, the height is more. So let me check Now this is horizontal arrangement tree. I will go to the property. I'll click on this, go to the property. I will set the height as 10% and click OK. Now, as you notice that the components in my screen are equally spaced. They are all like occupying the full screen. So it looks nice now. You might be wondering, will these boxes be visible when I am actually using the app? No, these boxes are only for our purpose to know that there are component here. They are like imaginary boxes. Only the user will see, the developer will see. When I actually share the app in the mobile, when I install the app in the mobile, it will not be visible as you see here. As you see here, the boxes are not visible, but the space is visible, like the we got the gap between the two boxes, but the component is not visible. Now, horizontal arrangement component is done. The last one is text to speech. This is an invisible component which will not be visible, but this component is required for our app to work, because our app is designed to convert the text to speech. So we need this invisible component. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to the panel, and this text to speech is available in media group. So I'm clicking on media group, and you can see here text to speech. So what I have to do, left click, drag and drop it on here. As you notice, I'm not seeing any box or anything here, but you can see the component is visible, text to speech one. How will you know it is there? You can see non-visible components, text to speech one. So that is the name. So it means that there is a non-visible component which is there in the mobile screen. So you can also check here in the component also it is visible, it is available, but on the mobile screen it will not be visible. So this is how we will design the app which is required for text to speech. As you notice, again I will go here, we use the label, text box, horizontal arrangement for giving space between the component, and we use the button component, and we use text to speech component which is invisible. Don't worry, after you drag and drop it, you don't need to worry, the component is not visible. It is showing a display here, non-visible component text to speech one. So there is one component text to speech one which is not visible. So the designing part is over. That is step 2 we have completed. So the next step is coding the app so that it will work whenever we click on the button. So before we go to step 3, I would, okay, this is step 2 which is done. So let me go to step 3. Now in step 3 for coding, we don't need all the component because it is just a title, nothing, it is not related to coding. When we are actually into coding, we don't need that. What exactly our coding has, what all the components we need for coding, we need the text box because we are going to write something on that, and we need this click to read button because once we click, it has to read. How it will read? This text to speech one, which is an invisible component, it will help the app to read the text that is written in this box. So these are all the components that we will use. You should remember the name also. The name for this text box is text box 1. The name for this button is button 1. And that invisible component which we dropped, that is text to speech 1. Now from where you will get the name of these components? As I told you before, you can get the name of these components here. You can see text box 1, that is the name of this text box, and button 1, that is the name of this button, click to read button, and text to speech 1, which is an invisible component which will help the text to speak aloud. Okay, now these 3 components only we are going to use while coding. Now, what exactly we want the app to do, I will show in a simple English language. The same thing we will use it for our coding using the block. So you can see here, when button 1 is clicked, yes, when this button 1, the name of the button is button 1. So when this click to read button, which is button 1 is clicked, call text to speech 1 to speak. Okay, so we have to call this one text to speech 1, which is an invisible component, to speak. What it has to speak? It has to speak the message which is written in the text box. So as you can see, we have used all the components, that is button 1, text to speech 1 and text box 1 component for the coding. And it is only 3 lines of coding that we are going to do. Whatever is written in English language, the same thing we are going to use for our coding using the blocks. I repeat again, when button 1 is clicked, call text to speech 1 to speak the message in text box 1. So this is what the app will do. Now, how we will code this in MIT App Inventor. So we will go here. Now, if you see here, by default, when I am designing the app, we are in designer mode. You can see here, by default, we are in designing. So a designer. In designer only, we will design the app. Now we want to code the app. We want to make the app working. So in order to make the app to work, we have to go to blocks. Okay, so once I click on that blocks, you can see you will get this interface. This is the place we will use to code our app. Coding means, as I told before, no programming, no C++, no Java. We will be using the blocks. The blocks are already inbuilt. Again, we will just drag and drop the blocks to do the coding. Now you can see these are all built-in apps which we are not going to use for our app now. Then next you can see this is screen 1. These are all the components that we used in our app design. Now button 1 is there, text box 1, text to speech 1. As I told before, these are the 3 components we need to code our app. So first we have to start with button 1, because as I told in that box, when button 1 is clicked. So I will click on this button 1. The moment I click on this component, you can see here the first one, when button 1 click, do some function, do some function whatever is required. So what I'm going to do, all these are called as blocks. So for button 1, there are many blocks. For our purpose, we need this block. So when button 1 is clicked, do what it has to do. We have to call that text to speech 1. So which is the second line. So I will click on this text to speech 1, and you can see call text to speech 1 to speak. Exactly what I had written there. I will drag this and I will place it inside this one. Now what exactly it means, when button 1 is clicked, call text to speech 1, speak message. What message it has to speak? You can see there is one like a curve thing. It means I have to fix another block here, like jigsaw puzzle, how we will fix. So I have to fix. Now it is very clear. We know that it has to read the message written in text box 1. So what I will do, I will go to the component text box 1, and then I have to scroll down and I can see here text box 1 dot text. So I will drag it, and like jigsaw puzzle, I'm going to just attach it here. So what it means, when button 1 is clicked, call text to speech 1 to speak the message written in text box 1 dot text, means the text that is written in text box 1. So that is what it means. I hope it is clear, but anyway, I will do it again for you for better understanding. So what I will do, suppose you have by wrongly you have dragged by mistakenly you have dragged a wrong block. You can just drag it. You can see the bin here. So just take it to the bin and you can place it inside the so that it will be deleted. The blocks will be deleted. You can see the blocks are deleted because I want to show it again. Okay, so I will show it again. So how will you start? I'll scroll up. Okay, now we were here actually. We were here for designing. Now to do the coding using blocks, you have to click on blocks, which is on top right corner, just below the account. It is there, account name, it is there. So I will click on the block. You will get a blank interface where you can use the blocks to do the coding. So what I will do this time, I will just minimize the screen so we can just compare with the PowerPoint and do. Now all these blocks are available, and you can see for screen 1, these are all the blocks that are in screen 1. Now we will see when button 1 is clicked. So button 1 is a component. So I will click on button 1, and in button 1 I want when button 1 is clicked. So if I just scroll down, scroll up, you can see when button 1 clicked. So the same thing I'm dragging and dropping here. So the first line is over. The second line, we are going to use the component text to speech 1. So I have to click on text to speech 1, which is here. So I will click on text to speech 1. What it has to do, we have to call text to speech 1 to speak. So I will drag and place it here. Call this media to speak. And the third line, speak the message in text box 1. So I will click on text box 1, and the moment I click, all the blocks related to text box 1 will be displayed. But let us choose the block that is required for us, which is text box 1 dot text. So where is it? Yeah, text box 1. Sorry, this is visible. This is wrong one. Okay, no problem. I can drag it, and there is one option here. Okay, you can see I placed a wrong one. Then also I can make a change here like text box 1 dot text. So when button 1 is clicked, call this media text to speech to speak the message written in text box 1. So we have done the coding part now. The coding is over. You can see it is only 3 lines of coding. Okay, now we have to go to step 4. Step 3 is over. Step 4, if you remember, we have to build the app. Now building the app is a very simple process. As you can see on the top next to my projects, connect and build, the build option is here. So I can just click on this and it shows 2 options for me. The first one, provide QR code for .apk. APK means Android package. So it will give a QR code which we can use to generate an Android package so that it can be installed in our mobile. The next one is save the Android package in the computer. So it will be just the package. This project will be just saved in the computer. Now we want to install it in our mobile. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the first one, provide QR code for Android package. So the moment I click, it will start creating building the project. You can see it is in the process of building the creating the Android package, and it will give us the QR code. So this is step 4 that we are doing, building the app so that we can install it in our mobile. It will just take few seconds. Now it is 50% is built. It has to build another 50%. It is basically to get the project ready to be installed in the mobile. So 100% it is built, and we will get the QR code for this. Yeah, you can see this QR code. Now this QR code has to be scanned using the app, mobile app. How we will do that? To do that, I'll just take you to the step 5. Step 4 is done, which is building, very simple. Now installing the app in Android device. This is step 5. What we have to do, we have to install an app called MIT AI2 Companion app. This app will basically communicate with the project that we have developed in the computer, and this app will help us to install the text-to-speech app in the mobile. As I told you, you can see it is used to install the app in Android device. It is basically to communicate with MIT App Inventor. So to do that, how I will show the step for that as well. So I will share my mobile screen. You can see what you have to do. Go to Google Play Store. I'm clicking on the Play Store, and then you have to type the name of the app, which is MIT AI Companion, AI2 Companion, sorry, AI2 Companion. You can see it is listed on the first here. So which is this companion, as you can understand from the word itself, it is like a companion which will help us to install the app. So I'll just click on this, and you will get, I have installed the app already, so I'm getting open button here. If you are installing for the first time, it will show install. So you have to install the app. Once it is installed, you can see it like this. Yeah, you can see this is MIT AI2 Companion. So I have to click on this app after installation, and you will get the message scan QR code. Means I can scan the QR code which is generated after building the app in MIT App Inventor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this scan QR code, and then I'm going here and I'm actually scanning. You can see here. I scanned this code, QR code, and you can see once I scanned, it is automatically coming here. Text to speech 3107, which is today's date I gave, .apk. APK means Android package. Yes, I want to install the package of this text to speech app in my mobile. So what I should do, you can see download here. Just let's click on this download, so that the app, text to speech app, will be installed in our mobile. Okay, so do you want to install this application? Which application? It is written on the top, text to speech 3107. Do you want to install this application? It is asking, and on the bottom right corner it is showing install. So I will click on that install, so that the app gets installed in my mobile. You can see the app is installed. It's installing text to speech 3107, and you can see open here on bottom right corner. You can see this open. Which app? This is text to speech 3107 open. Yes, I will click on this open, and you can see the app is open. The same app that I developed throughout this time, that is installed. So I will test the app now. Installation is over. Now I have to test the app, run the app. So what I have to do, just click on this text box and type something. So I'm typing this text, and I have to click on this click to read button. So the moment I click this click to read, it has to speak the text which I have written aloud.
Now I know how to develop the app. Now I know how to develop the app.
As you heard from my mobile, the text I have written, it is read aloud. So the step 5 is over. We have installed the app and we have run the app. So this is a simple app where we used only 5 components and we developed this. And to run this app, once it is installed in our mobile, we don't need to have internet connection. Whenever we want, we can just click on the app and we can run it. I can also show you where it will be. Yeah, you can see here text to speech. This is the app. So whenever we want, we can click on this app and the app will be open for us to use without internet connection. So these are the 5 steps that we have to follow to develop a simple and basic app in MIT App Inventor. That's it, sir, from my side. Any doubts from anyone? I am happy to answer. I hope it was clear to everyone.
Yes, madam. Thank you. Thank you. It was a wonderful session. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you,
And I
sir.
request the participants, we will give you a few minutes. You can post your queries in the chat box so that madam will answer for that. and after that we will get a feedback from two of the persons, and at last there are some important announcements to be made by the Madam Dr. Sheila. So she will announce some of the important things. So please don't leave the meeting. Please be with us. Thank you. Thank you. Madam, hope you can see the chat box, madam. Ramya, madam?
Yes, sir, I'm able to see the chat box.
Okay, madam.
Okay, I got a query that, ma'am, how is it useful in teaching math subject? For math subject, you have to create an app for learning math concepts, ma'am. This is just an introduction of what are the components that are available, how to design, how to do coding, basically to help you uh, get started your journey in designing mobile app. So that's it. Since this is open educational resource, you can just sign in, and I would suggest you to explore where you can see in the blocks also there are math functions are available. With that, you can develop app for math subject.
Madam, they are asking how to share this application with their students and others.
Ma'am, you have to upload it to Google Play Store. Then only it can be shared with others.
Or else they can share, they can download this application in the system and they can share through the mail, no, madam?
Yes, that way also, yes. They can share, they can download it, and they can share it, send it through email, and that person can again download it in their mobile.
Yes, after scanning the QR code, yes, you can install that application. Do they also need to install? Yes, you have to need the MIT AI to a companion app, because you have to scan the QR code. If you want to scan the QR code, you want to install that application. Or else, as madam told, if you are getting directly from the mail that APK file, you can download it as such.
And one of you have asked, Subhash sir, what is the difference between label and button? It appears similar. Yes, sir, can we interchange while selecting these? Okay, so actually they all appear same, but their purpose is different. For example, if for label, you will not get the block on label click. Whenever we want the user to click on something, then we have to use label. Whenever we want the user to type something, then we have to use text box, because on label or button, the user cannot type. And whenever we just want to show a title or just to display, for display purpose, we have to use label. I agree, sir, everything looks same, but the purpose is different. And while coding also, you will not get on label one clicked. That will not be there. Only for button, you will get on button when button one clicked. So
Number of words are not limited. You can type the maximum number of content on it. So there is no limit for it. And how it is used for students? Yes, you can use it for the pronunciation, and you can make the students to read the passage. They can develop the comprehension skill in it.
thank you, sir. Thank you, Subhash, sir.
Sir, could we begin with the feedback, or are there more queries?
Yeah. Yes, madam. We can start with the feedback.
So can I request you to unmute Ma'am Mary Sebastian, who will first share her feedback? Ma'am Mary Sebastian. She is an assistant professor from the Ministry of Education, Kuwait, and I request Ma'am Mary to share her experience of this course.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
One correction, I'm not an assistant professor. I'm an English teacher with the Ministry of Education, Kuwait. And this is my second association with St. Teresa's Institute. Education these days has been defined basically by technology. We are all experts in our respective fields. But technology was one thing that we were all not comfortable with. But with St. Teresa's, I think the second session, this session, I can create GIF, e-content learning, then what ma'am taught today, that is something which we are all going to apply. So the fear of being left out, that is FOBA, is no longer there with me. I'm not missing out on anything. That is the FOMA. I always say that, since I'm not a very techno-savvy person, so I always had this FOBA and this FOMA because this generation is so technologically advanced. But now I can say I think I'll be able to do justice to technology because I know I have learned a lot of things through this particular thing. So thank you, St. Teresa's. Thank you, CareMax, and thank you, the Academy, the Universal Teachers Academy, for this initiative and involving all of us. God bless each one of you.
thank you, ma'am, for those warm words of appreciation, and really sorry about getting your designation incorrect.
That's okay. That's okay. I wish I'll be promoted to that. But currently, I'm only a teacher. I'm
Oh my.
only an English teacher. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
Sir Srinivasan, could you please unmute Sir Sunil D'Souza?
Yeah, sure, madam. Sure.
He is an assistant teacher at St. Paul's High School, Dadar. Sir Sunil D'Souza?
Yeah, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
A very good evening to one and all. On behalf of us participant teachers, I take this opportunity to thank the staff and the management of St. Teresa's Institute of Education for having continually and painstakingly organized webinars, including this present webinar, during this lockdown period to equip us teachers with new online tools to make our teaching enriching and interesting. First and foremost, I'm so glad that I registered for this webinar. And I'm also grateful to my friend Mona D'Souza, who is attending this webinar, for informing me about the same. Speaking on a personal note, I have attended quite a few online teaching webinars during this lockdown, and some of them were quite repetitive. But honestly speaking, this webinar was quite informative, and I learned quite a few new tools during this webinar, especially the H5P software for creating timeline charts and other teaching material, using the PowerPoint to create interactive e-content like diagrams, designing your own Android apps for teaching, that what we learned today. What I really liked about this webinar was that the resource persons employed by the Universal Teachers Academy were not only well versed with their content, but also excellent teachers who taught us with great zeal, dexterity, and simplicity. Though there was no compulsion for submitting assignments daily, we ourselves felt intrinsically motivated to practice the learning at the end of every session. For instance, I even taught my two little children, who are school-going children, how to create GIFs, who are more than happy to learn it, and even created a GIF of a deer being chased by a tiger on their own. I would like to particularly highlight the sincerity of the UTS staff members who have willingly volunteered to post the video tutorial for yesterday's webinar, which could not be completed due to some technical hiccups. Please continue to keep up the good work that you have been doing, and we assure you all of our prayers and support. May God continue to bless you all and your families, dear STIE and UTS staff members and CareMax Foundation members. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. We are really humbled by your compliments. And I think it's the feedback of participants like both of you, which only help us work up on what more we can do in this direction to reach out to teachers across the country. With this, I would like to hand over the session back to my colleague, Dr. Sheila Philip.
Madam, one thing, we
Yes.
can't accommodate all the participants to get their feedback, so that they can post in the chat box, so you can tell them.
So the remaining participants, you can please post your personal feedback in the chat box. We'd be more than happy. And after this session, we will keep the WhatsApp groups open for half an hour for all of you to post your feedback there. Okay. So I'll hand over the session back to Ma'am Sheila for the next part of it. Dr. Sheila.
Welcome back, digital citizens. Having successfully completed the dream we envisioned, it's only befitting that we extend our thankfulness to several persons and people who have helped in staging this platform. Let me begin by thanking the two kind-hearted collaborators, CareMax Foundation and St. Teresa's Institute of Education, for upholding a benevolent cause through this charity drive. Our sincere gratitude to the administrative heads of both these institutions. Dear leaders, you are the heart behind this thought. This endeavor has spanned India and has unified teachers across the country. To each of you delegates, your enrollment at this FDP shows that you care too. This has been our third attempt at conducting a faculty development program on online tools. However, each FDP has been distinctively different from the other two. Each one has covered new aspects of the wide gamut of tech applications available in education. Delegates, your repeated registrations to the courses only bears testimony that you are satisfied and that we are helping in raising the quality of education and its mode of transaction. We are immensely grateful to the resource persons of Universal Teachers Academy, Professor Srinivasan Ambur, Professor Shaktivel Murugan, Professor Ramya Sriram, and Professor Leena Jain. And to Madam Anju Chaplot and Leena Jain for being at the helm of the questionnaire. Madam Anju Jain, Anju Chaplot and Leena Jain are members of the UTA team. It is only befitting that we let you know that these are mentors, are winners of awards at the ICT competitions led at the national level. You have not just showcased technology-enabled teaching, but you have also taught us the art of being good teachers through the patience and warmth you have radiated in your teaching that has captured our hearts. Our deep gratitude to the course coordinators, Dr. Giselle D'Souza and Dr. Cinderella De Mello, for having orchestrated these synchronous workshops over the past 3 months. They have put their soul into making this a multi-pronged outreach. On that happy note, I hand over the reins once again to our course coordinator, Associate Professor, Dr. Giselle D'Souza.
Thank you, Dr. Sheila, for letting your heart do the speaking and giving credit where credit is really due. You always have that special way of making everyone feel extra special. Thanks again, Dr. Sheila. Friends, there are a few announcements for the participants, with which after that we will end the session. The first and most important is that the feedback link will be shared on the WhatsApp group. Kindly ensure that you fill in all your details, your name, exactly as you would like it to appear on your certificate, because no changes will be possible after the certificate is issued. Check that you have entered the right email ID, as the certificate will not reach you if the ID entered in the form has an error. Please note that you will receive your certificate in 10 days from now. I repeat, in 10 days from now, as we have a limit to the number of certificates we can generate each day. I think with online teaching getting into the fray, we expect everything at a click, but I'm sorry to say certificates can't be generated at a click. I wish they could be. So please be patient and avoid reminding us about it on personal chat. Your patience will be greatly appreciated. And finally, before the sun goes down and the curtains close, I thank the Almighty for making this course a reality, for keeping each of us safe and protected. Thank you, Sir Srinivasan, for your excellent coordination right through. It's always a pleasure to know that you are with us each day. It put our minds at ease. Yes, friends, it's been a wonderful journey. And as we reach our final destination, on behalf of my colleague, Dr. Cinderella De Mello, and the entire STIE family, I, Dr. Giselle D'Souza, wish you every blessing life has to offer. जीते रहो और जिंदगी भर सीखते रहो. आप सबके लिए यही हमारी दुआ है. Thank you, Sir Srinivasan. And with this, friends, we can say goodbye and hope we will meet again.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
On behalf of Universal Teachers Academy, I thank the St. Teresa Institute of Education, its management, staffs, and principal, and particularly Giselle madam, and Sheila madam, and Cinderella madam for providing us this opportunity to collaborate with them as a resource person. And also I thank the CARMAX Foundation director for providing this opportunity and for giving us also an opportunity for this charity drive. And I thank all the resource persons from first Ms. Leena Jain and Shaktivel Murugan and Ramya madam for the wonderful presentations. Even though there was a technical glitches, but still we won't be calm and quiet. Definitely we will provide you the link of yesterday's session. So bear with us. Definitely we will do the right thing for you, because you are traveling with us from many of the participants are traveling from many of the workshops. We can see the registrations as we are from the Google Sheets. So thank you very much. And your motivation and enthusiasm makes us to go very long way. So thank you very much, madam. Thank you. Yes, madam. Let's.
God bless you, Sir Srinivasan, and God bless each and every participant on this forum. So wishing you goodbye and God bless from St. Teresa's Institute of Education. Thank you.
Thank you. Rest of the announcements, feedbacks, and regarding the certificates and all, we will post in the WhatsApp group,
yes,
and we can post queries there. And today also we will open the group. You can post your queries there. Before that 8 p.m. We will post both the YouTube links in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramya madam. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, madam. Let's officially end the meet, madam. Thank you.